Kung Fu Hot Dog.
This is the greatest show I've seen in my life.
You tell me, who is your daddy and what does he do?
Do you remember when Alex Battaglia from Digital Foundry was sat down with Richie Ledbetter and John Linehan and discussing the project called Eve back in the day, which eventually became Shift-Ut's magnum opus, Stellar Blade? Let's have a reminder, folks.
The one thing, I know you were talking about the character from a bygone era. I do think the character model was actually like very distracting in not a good way, because like with the camera angles chosen, it just felt like this game seems like a game that came out in like 002 in terms of its, like character design. It's like a bit old and not flattering, I don't think, for a modern audience. In comparison to something like Forspoken, which has, yes, it has a much more realistic looking character designs. It's not these hyper proportioned something or another's, but it also seemed, I don't know, a bit more grounded in a way that I found much more appealing.
Anyway.
And of course, it's only fitting, folks, that the boys from the toys that is called Digital Foundry have returned with their reactions, thoughts and feelings for Stellar Blade 2 Blood Rain, because it's going to reign supreme here in the household of Kung Fu Hot Dog. And without further ado, folks, let's get on with today's zany video.
Wait, that's Kung Fu Hot Dog! Ah!
Ooh, Richie Ledbetter with these super high-tech earpieces. I wonder what he can hear that we can't. Let's take a deep delve and a deep dive. Well, maybe not that deep, actually, because I can't be going that deep into various crevices before I get arrested for my crimes against humanity.
Interesting stuff there. I'd say the first impressions visually for this game were like off the charts. It just looks so...
Now, ladies and gentlemen, a bit of a tete-a-tete here, because we know, you know, and I know, and she knows that these guys at Digital Foundry are men of culture. They're building up the foreplay, the suspense, the anticipation. I love how these guys do it, because they're getting me a bit hot and bothered right now.
Detail rich and beautiful, I think. It was the PC version. It does look as though it was actually using frame generation. There is some evidence of that in the trailer. I guess that doesn't really matter.
I don't care about frame generation, man.
At this point,
I'm thinking about the next generation for the nation.
Oliver, I'm going to go to you first on this one. What do you think about this?
What do you think?
Well, I found this quite fetching. I have to assume this is using Unreal 5 based on the studio's pedigree and based off of a couple of graphical techniques in here. It almost looks a little bit luminy to my eyes, and obviously the reflections look quite high fidelity, and it definitely has that Unreal look to it, I'd have to say. But yeah, I'm not too familiar with this game or this series. It does look quite fetching. It almost reminds me of the
that's the second time he's used the word fetching.
The Ascent, in terms of its depiction of kind of a cyberpunk cityscape, and obviously having it at this high level of fidelity and having it rendered within Unreal, there are some interesting parallels there. But yeah, I would actually be very curious to hear John's thoughts on this game, because you quite enjoyed the original, and I think you also covered it when it was released for PS5.
Oh, they covered it all right.
Which had quite an interesting PSSR implementation and an interesting approach to frame rate caps and things like that. I wonder if they'd take similar
steps. This never gets boring, just watching Evie doing her thing, strutting like a sexy female John Travolta from Saturday Night Fever.
It's a mix of like old and new, but to create this like very messy, it kind of reminds me of some of the stuff that Rocksteady did in Batman Arkham Knight. Actually, I've been playing that, you know what I mean? Where it's like a cyberpunk, more modern take on like an old, worn out city. And I really like this like, sort of indirect, overcast lighting they have going on. It's very striking. It's not like super contrasty, but it looks somehow very realistic. There's a lot going on in this that's very, very promising, and I'm curious to see where they go, because I was a big fan of the original.
I know you were.
An awesome character action
We
game
all
with
were.
a really unique vibe. And this has a different vibe. I mean, when you hear the music and you see the vending machine, I was like, wait, this got to be Stellar Blade 2. And it was. My only concern is that I did see they put out some key art that has evidence of Gen AI all over it, which made me a little bit worried, and I hope that doesn't bleed too much into the game. But at least this piece they showed here in this trailer is appealing, and I do like the new sort of like hand-to-hand based combat they're showing, which is a
the
change of
CQC's
pace, but
badass.
potentially very, very cool. It looks fast, it's beautiful, and I hope it turns out good because I am a big fan of that original.
I mean, it just looks really, really good.
Richie Ledbetter did not let me down. It's like, you know, when you went to biology at school and they told you about the birds and the bees and everything else that makes you go weak at the knees. That's exactly what Richie was doing there. Shall we replay that scene? I think we should, because I
Potentially very, very
love
cool.
my wobbly bits,
Fast, it's
don't
beautiful,
you?
and
It just looks really, really good. I really want to see
Right.
the console
He
versions
can't
at
contain
this
his
point.
excitement and
Because,
thinking about
the
it. Neither
detail
can
on display
I.
here. I guess when you switch away from like the opening sections into the gameplay, it becomes a lot more kind of plausible looking,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because there's a shot early on where they show the main character like toying around with this like vial in her hand, and the rendering there of her glove in that vial is so good. Like, if you said no, that's the CGI, I would believe you. I don't know. There's something about it that seems almost too good, but I'm very curious to see like if they actually pull off this level. But as you noted, like there is this thing that makes you think, oh, they're using frame gen, but not in a great way because the frame rate has this very kind of like wobbly look to it. But again, none of that actually matters here. This is just like early in development. I agree. It's interesting you mentioned that. There was a lot of these types of games here. There was another one that caught my eye. It was called Aeon 2.
Let's check that out, you fools. Oh, my God. It's an angel from heaven. And she's Caucasian. Oh, my gosh. I am being bathed in the sea of bosoms by some Eastern Asian lovelies. Bring on the waifus. I am blessed. My sins are cleansed. Look, this is not a patch on the first Descendant or even, oh my God, or even Stellar Blade 2, but my God, the women are so gorgeous. Oh my God. Oof. I just realized I'm playing this at the wrong speed, but you know what? I get to appreciate everything that's going on in front of me, and I absolutely love it. Oh my God, honestly. Now listen, I cannot betray my love, not Jill Valentine, she's still in there, but I'm talking about Tasha Sikorsky from Ace Combat 8, Wing of Thieves. Ooh, but this one is an astounding beauty. I bet all the usual people out there, Screen Rant, Gay, Radar, are all mad about these designs, aren't they? Purely female, purely aesthetic, just gorgeous for the male and female eyes to behold in the real world. And I wouldn't mind beholding some of those real worlds down there. But let's carry on, folks, in slow motion while I use my bionic eye. It's really good in slow motion, by the way. I really do appreciate this. Take flight with Jake. Who? This soundtrack is so pulsating, so... Oh my word, who are you, my lovely? Oh my God, there's more! More waifus are trying to capture me, and I love it if they do, but I better switch back to normality, folks, before I go absolutely apeshit in the head. So what did you think? The Digital Foundry boys certainly liked what they saw, and I bet they couldn't wait to reanalyze and analyze that design of Evie and her aesthetics and everything surrounding her all over again, because I jolly well wouldn't mind doing that. Oh, and guess what? I've got my own very own 4K version of that Stellar Blade Blood Rain trailer to look at as well. And on that one, folks, if I were you and if you were me, stop taking sexy anime dolls like that and looking up their hoota bootas, and I will catch you catching me for the return of the next video.
But certainly curious. I mean, obviously, Shift Up really delivered with the initial Stellar Blade.
I agree.